Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and a new episode of our online interview series. We want to get, of course, because of the news development, an update from Alpha Lithium. And Brad Nichol, the CEO, is here with us. Good morning, Brad. How are you?
Hi, I'm great, Johan. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. I'm a shareholder of the company. I want to disclose that first, that everybody's aware of that. And I'm really a happy shareholder because the stock price moved a good 30% since the last time we spoke. And I think that is only like 2 weeks ago. So you guys received a takeover bid from, I think, a company called Tecpetrol for $1.24 in a cash deal. To my understanding, it's way too cheap. I think that's why you and the board refused that takeover bid, right?
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons why. Clearly, the number didn't reflect not even close to the value for the entire company, let alone the assets
Hmm.
individually. So, yeah, that's I mean, one of the things that we've done recently actually is on our website, on the front page of our
Hmm.
website, we've put a chart which gives a comparison of only one of our assets, not all of the assets that we have, but one of those assets with all of the other assets in the immediate vicinity. And so it compares all of those things. It makes it easy in a table, and you can see what our asset should be worth compared to all of the others. And it gives you a much better idea of why the board made their decision.
Yeah, definitely. No, I just watched that table also in front of the interview, and I must say, I think the lowest thing was something like 400 million. That was Millennial Lithium, but that's a much smaller and different project. But it went up to 1.2 billion dollars, 800 million dollars, and I think this is more the comparable value of your properties. I mean, of your whole company. We talk about the whole company, not only one project, because to my understanding, water is key in the driest region of the world, and you have the water. So, to my, let's say, little stupid understanding in the business, is water something like 400-500 million worth
Yeah, what I would say
US
is
dollar.
there's nobody in this industry that knows you that would say your understanding is little or stupid. So, um,
Thank you.
but, but yes, absolutely, as expected, you understand it perfectly. If anybody wants to produce lithium from Tolillar, just one of our assets, the Tolillar Solar,
Mm,
if in fact, if anybody wants to produce lithium anywhere in Argentina, they must have fresh water, and they must
mhm,
have high quality fresh water, and they must have a lot of fresh water. We are in a place that is drier than the Sahara Desert, and fresh water is very, very scarce. But we have more fresh water than I've ever seen in any of the other salars, and we certainly have more than enough fresh water to produce more lithium than we could ever produce out of Tolijar Solar alone. So
yeah,
we're very
exactly.
blessed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I see it the same way. So that bit from Tech Patrol, that was just a nice try. Can we describe it like this?
Yeah, I'm not, I'm not.
Because that looks like to me.
Obviously, it's sensitive. There are a lot of things that I can't talk about or go into the
Of
details
course.
of, but ultimately, it was pretty obvious to us. And I can say in the follow-up, I've had dozens of phone calls with every one of our large institutional investors. Obviously, some new ones have come and have called and asked questions. But the overwhelming response is that the value didn't reflect anywhere near what the actual value of the company or even of the individual assets. So, in our view, the board really had no choice but to reject it.
No, absolutely. I see. Honestly, I'm me as a shareholder. I would never ever accept this because I did my own due diligence, and to me, it looks more like, let's say, north of $3 Canadian. I would say then we can talk. This is my private understanding, of course. Yeah. Um, what is also really interesting, as you said, your phone did not stand still. So can we expect maybe in the near-term future some more serious phone calls and maybe a press release?
Boy, talk about putting me on the spot. Again, there are lots of things that I can't talk about, but That's one of the reasons that we put that chart on the front page of our website to make it
Mm,
very easy for everybody, whether you're in the industry or not in the industry,
mhm,
whether you're an expert or not, whether you're an investor or not. Ultimately,
mm,
that table on the front page of our website demonstrates where the value is
mm,
and where we think it could be for us. So
mm.
yeah, and I have announced in the past that we've had an unprecedented level of inbound interest in certain assets of the company. Um, so that chart also makes it handy for people to see what those companies might be seeing.
Absolutely. Super. Okay, let's go shortly to the lithium market because something really funny happened. We were like in April at the low at 163,000 yuan per ton LCE. I always take the China reference price for the spot market. And today we are 297,500. We have been, last week I saw already at 306,000 yuan. So that's a move of approximately 90%, which is crazy. So the volatility is really enormous in that market, despite the facts that I get more and more comments and articles that, oh, lithium is going scarce. What's your view on that?
Yeah, no, I typically convert it to US dollars and work in US dollar numbers, but
Hmm.
the lithium spot price is something that it does not represent a very much of the volume that's sold publicly. The spot price and the spot price to China is not indicative of anything long term. It's indicative of short term, call them spikes or falls. But yes, we've seen a turn in that spot price, which does have, I'll call them loose links to long-term contract prices. I would say the spot price is going to do this,
Hmm.
but the long-term
Hmm.
contract price is going to do this.
Hmm.
And from all of the data that we've gathered, and we actually pay for data in some cases, but clearly when you're building a mine, and that mine has a 20, 30, or in our case, maybe even a 40-year mine life, that's the price that you care about. You don't care about what that price is today, this very second, or on the
Hmm.
spot market. You care about what that price is going to be over the 40-year life of your mine. And in our case, we've seen that as the spot price has been doing this, well, actually, it's been
Hmm.
doing this, and now it's come straight
Hmm.
back up. What we've seen of the long-term contract prices have remained over $50,000 a ton,
Uh-huh.
and they're predicted or anticipated to smoothly increase to about $60,000 a ton
Hmm.
between today and 2030. And that's, like I say, that's from paid research, that's from non-paid research, that's general industry. A lot of the big banks anticipate that as well. So
Hmm.
I would urge people, don't focus on the spot price because it's volatile. It's not indicative
Hmm.
of anything meaningful. Nobody that's manufacturing batteries in any significant volume relies on the spot price for their economics of their plant.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
all looking at that long-term contract price, both
Yeah.
producers as 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 well as purchasers of the
Hmm.
production. So, that's for me that long-term price means everything, and the
Hmm.
near-term
Yeah.
spot is just noise in some way.
Absolutely. I just read an article, I think it was even Wall Street Journal or something like that, that there was a prediction by 2050. They think the lithium demand could rise by 3,000 to 5,000% from today. Would you agree on that? I mean, those are numbers which I would say, hey guys, sorry, that's totally unserious.
Yeah,
But amazing. I mean, I could imagine if we go to 2050, that's 27 years from here. I could imagine that we move from, I think this year it's 800, what is it, 850,000, 830,000 tons LCE calculated. I could imagine that we easily go to 3 to 4 million tons, maybe 5 million tons per annum,
well,
right?
there are a lot of places that are saying, like McKinsey, for example, has done a study, and they're saying that, or they're anticipating about 4.7 million tons a year of demand by 2030, and they break that out
2030
by
already.
2030. Yes. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you think about, I'm going to have a look. I've got a chart here just on the other screen. So In 2010, lithium production was 100,000 tons per year. Global lithium production, 100,000 tons in 2010. By 2020, that had tripled. It grew to 300,000 tons per year. 2020 is not very long ago. This year, we anticipate, between 850 and a million tons a year. That's only 3 years later. And by 2030, the anticipation is, like I say, about 4.7 million tons per year. So if you look at, say, the last 10 or 13 years of growth, and then the next 7 years of growth, we are going to grow so quickly before the end of this decade. It's unbelievable. So it's very clear that there is a structural supply problem. We cannot supply enough lithium to the world to feed the demand. And even if the demand isn't as robust as everybody is anticipating, I mean, if it's half as robust, we're still going to have a problem meeting that demand. So we're structurally in a very, I'll call it a bad spot. We're definitely undersupplied, and we're going to be that way for the foreseeable future.
Super. And do you also think that is the major reason why the M&A race has started last year?
Yeah, I look back, I've been in this industry for quite some time, and in 2017, when the prices spiked, we saw a little bit of production. It didn't take much production to come online from Australia to feed that little bit of additional demand in 2017. And then the prices quickly fell back down because we became oversupplied. But since then, that demand has grown almost infinitely. And so it doesn't take just a little bump in production to meet that demand. So today the demand is so high, and the supply, it's got a long way to go to catch up to meet that long-term demand. So there won't be these little bumps in production, or a mine comes on and it dramatically affects the overall percentage of world production. Now if a mine comes on, it affects overall world production by a tiny bit. What we need is for dozens of mines to come on stream, and then we'll start to be able to meet some of that demand. So yeah, we've got a real structural supply problem. There's no question.
Yeah, definitely. And this will, I would say, hold on for a long, long time.
Yeah, and some of that comes down to it just takes so long to when you first acquire land and you have to explore, and that entire exploration program, especially in some parts of the world. I mean, we work in Argentina, where if we want to drill a well 300 or 400 meters deep, sometimes that can take 3 or 4 months. It's not like in some other parts of the world where you can drill a well, like use oil field as an example, where you can drill a well to 1,000 meters in a matter of hours. Maybe it's a couple of days, but in some of these places, Argentina, Chile, even Bolivia, if I'll give them a bit of some credibility, to drill in these places and to explore and to it's such a new market. It's a new industry, actually, is what we're creating here. Is kind of how it feels, and the expertise isn't there, the equipment isn't there, the technology hasn't arrived yet. So it's a real struggle, and maybe 20 or 30 years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, we'll be in a position where we have fantastic equipment and drilling rigs, and government imports will allow some of that equipment to come into the countries, and some of the expertise will start to develop, and people will go to university and they'll graduate and they'll become lithium experts. Today, those people are few and far between. So we're really at just the very beginning stages of creating an industry that is already exploding before we've even created it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we are also in the beginning of hopefully the takeover war about Alpha Lithium. We will see how that ends, how that comes. And yeah, Brad, thank you very much for the insight, and also good to talk on the markets. I think we are both really agree that this is a horrible supply-demand imbalance here, and probably lithium prices will rise further. I think that's pretty given. And yeah, hopefully you guys don't sell too cheap, because don't forget I'm a shareholder too.
I'm a big shareholder too, so you don't worry about that, Johan.
Okay, super. Hey, all the best. Thank you very much. Please keep us posted. And yeah, I have a good feeling that the next 4 weeks we hopefully will get a nice press release. Or maybe 2 or 3.
All right, my
All
friend.
right, Brett. Thank you very much. Good talking to you.
Thanks. Yeah, you
Thank you.
too. Bye.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brad Nichol, the CEO of Alpha Lithium, with a short statement on the takeover bid of Tecpetrol. Definitely, it is too low. That is also for sure. I mean, make yourself up, make your mind up with a calculation what they have. They have water. That's the most important asset aside of the lithium when you are working in the driest area of the world. And also have a look on their website, because it's really interesting, the table, what they have really with the comparables of the last takeovers which have happened in the last 2-3 years. And I have a good feeling that we see much, much higher share prices here, but everybody must decide by himself. I'm in. Maybe you are too. I hope so for you. And yeah, let's make it. Thank you very much for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.